Hi hobby friends, let's talk about white. Hooey, how about those guns? Oh my oh my. The Tau are an absolute blast to paint, and someone on Instagram reached out and asked if I'd do a video on my Chalnath box art inspired Tau kill team. I fancied sinking my teeth into something a little chunkier, so a quick look on Troll Trader landed me this already built commander. A little bit of basing and some cleanup and we are ready to go. White is perceived as a difficult colour for miniature painters, probably for the same reason black is. It's already an absolute light value. So where do you go for your shadows and highlights? A so-called dark white might make you think of grey, but grey is, well, a grey area, and using a neutral grey doesn't always yield very satisfying results. As I touched on in my last video on the Skaven speed paint, the answer is to reach out into the wonderful world of colour. More often than not, you want some kind of chromatic value in your shadows to build from, and one of my go-tos for white is a blue-grey, like this Molotow Petrol. Such a gorgeous colour, and really close to the cool shadows that form on white on clear, bright days. Since white reflects all the light that hits it, your perception of it is always going to be really susceptible to the environmental lighting, and except in really extreme situations, this information will show up mostly in the shadows. When our commander is all primed up, we need to move on to our volume sketch, and for that, we go straight to titanium white ink. I'm keeping it simple here, focusing on my top surfaces and leaving recesses and downward-facing planes in the blue base coat. Notice how little white we need on there to really sell that this is a white battlesuit. If we'd been building up from a neutral grey or a black, this would have been a lot harder and taken a lot more white, leaving less space on the volumes for overall contrast. Okay, believe it or not, that's almost it for the white. It really can be that simple to get a super effective result. But I don't want to leave you guys hanging with a half-finished model, so let's get this guy done and add a bonus super fast weathering effect and extreme environmental lighting. I pull out my brush and contrast style paints and throw down some black on the black parts and yellow on the red parts. I feel like I've said this in almost every video, but if you're working with transparent paints, you really need to think about underpainting. I want a nice warm tone to my red to contrast the cool white shadows, so yellow it is. While that's drying, I hit the big screw things with metal colour copper, then put some red over the yellow we just did, and while I don't want to encourage laziness, if you're a battle ready is good enough kind of a person, well, this would be significantly better than your other meta-chasing friends and take about as long, so... But battle ready is certainly not what I'm here for, so let's hit those bases with some earthy and grassy tones and some tufts and move on to the lenses. A dark blue base, turquoise faded in from the bottom left corner, and a little dot of white in the top right. This is Gem Painting 101, and these little guys are a fab design element that breaks up the flat white faces of the Tau suits. Now that that's done, and since we're only a couple of hours in, let's work on that red a little bit more. On my palette are a rich, pure red, a medium warm orange, and a magenta. If you're wondering why magenta, we need to talk about colour theory sometime, but for now, suffice to say we're going to glaze that into the shadows. The pure red is for solidifying our tone on highlight surfaces, and then we keep adding orange to build some basic highlights. Nothing too extreme here, I want to keep these elements firmly in the red. Alright, let's have some panel lining fun next. This is the same process I went over in the Fire Prism video, but instead of off-white, I'm using burnt sienna. Again, that warm tone is going to lend some temperature contrast, but also provide the first step for some extra cheeky, super speedy weathering. Check this out. When all your lines are filled in, clean out your brush, and then it's time to perform yet another oil paint miracle. By adding a teeny tiny dot of neat oil paint, then gently pulling it down with a clean brush dampened with mineral spirits, instant rusty weathering. This is such a satisfying process. About the only thing you need to be careful about is getting carried away. And even then, since these are oils, with a little more mineral spirits and some patience, you can always go back and erase anything you don't like. What a joy. Yet another breakpoint here. If you want some gorgeous Tau to field and you want them quick, a commander like this will cost you about 2.5 to 3 hours, and with the added efficiency of batch painting, you could be looking at an army over the course of a weekend or two. But come on, let's really dial this up. Time for that extreme environmental light. Look at your model, find an angle you like, and take a deep breath. Since I'm after that orange rim lighting effect, I'm going in from the back left side of the model, and I'm starting with a warm yellow ink. Layering different transparent colours through your airbrush is a really easy and effective way to build depth. So, with the yellow locked in, I move to the super punchy fluorescent orange, still focusing on the same angles, filling in and enriching the yellow. Finally, another perhaps surprise appearance from Magenta, this time as a transparent ink. Going slowly and gently, we can use the magenta to push the yellow-orange deeper towards red and get this absolutely gorgeous, juicy orange tone. White is a real blank canvas that will bounce back any colour you throw at it, so you have to be happy with bold, but I just love the extreme effect here. After all that, I fancied just a little bit more contrast for this orange, so I loaded up some Prussian blue and gave the commander a quick spritz from the bottom right, really pushing back those shadows. Final stage now, and we want to give this guy just a little more definition. So on my palette, I lay out a cool grey, a pure titanium white, and a vibrant yellow. All these are my edge highlight colours, the white for the white panels, grey for the black parts, and yellow for the areas being hit by that fiery orange light. And when the edge highlighting is done, with just 4 hours of painting, including camera futzing, airbrush cleaning, and frequent phone breaks, we should have something that looks a little like this. Okay guys, if you like this video and you want the great algorithm in the cloud to smile upon it, hit the like and sub button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.